Looks like I'm up on YouTube, and I think I'm up on Facebook. Start looking for some comments. Coming up on Phyllis Russell, coming up on 4 years next month, still keeping the weight off. Phyllis, that's awesome. Hi, Emma Tyson, how are you? It's been a while, Phyllis. I miss you. I hope you're doing well. Hello to Alicia as well out there. Just let me know, send a comment out there if you can see me okay. I'm still trying to figure out some of the technology here. Looks like we've got some people on Facebook and YouTube as well. I'm not sure if it's streaming out to YouTube. A little overwhelmed with the technology here. All right. Julie, how are you? 2 years coming up. Don't see me on YouTube. I'm going to still, let's see if I can get going on YouTube as well. Trying to send to both YouTube and Facebook can be a little tricky. But I am up on Facebook, I believe. All right. Let's see. Try again to come up to YouTube. All right, we're working on getting the stream up on YouTube. What I may do is just kind of do separate posts on both YouTube and Facebook. So if YouTube, if you don't see the stream pop up in the next few minutes, you can tune over to our Facebook Live channel, and we'll be announcing the making the big announcement over there. So it looks like I am up. And looks like people can see me, so that's a good start. So I talked about making a announcement. So I'm really excited about my new book, and I've got a picture of it right here. Got actually a copy of it right here, and it's called "How Weight Loss Surgery Really Works and How to Make It Work for You." And I put a lot of time into this. This is probably 3 or 4 hours of 3 or 4 years of time to gather everything up. I think I've researched this book way more than I did my first one. And I've really made it my mission to educate people about this idea that obesity is caused by these changes in your hormones that regulate your appetite and your metabolism. And it's only by recognizing that weight loss surgery works to change these hormones that we can actually hope to get some understanding about the best things that we can do. And the problem is we've just labeled obesity this disease that only is the result of your eating habits, your exercise, and because of that, we just had blamed the victim all these years. And I think it's really time that we start getting a better grasp on what causes obesity and how weight loss surgery works. We have, at this point, millions and millions of successful weight loss surgery patients. And they can educate us about what is going on with obesity in general. And I think it's important for all these people to recognize, how fragile weight loss surgery can be, and how there's some pitfalls that if you don't recognize, you can really fall into the dangerous traps of weight regain. So let's see some comments here. Hi, Kim, Frederick, how are you? Miss you. Hope you're doing well. Kim is my was my tech back in Detroit. She was awesome. I miss you, Kim. So where can you get the book? You can get it on Amazon. It's available right now. It's called How Weight Loss Surgery Really Works. I've also lowered the price of a pound of Cure. So if you don't have a copy of a pound of Cure, you can now get it. I knocked a couple of bucks off both the paperback and the Kindle price, and I'm pretty excited about that as well. And I think between those two books, you've got the nutrition in the Pound of Cure, and now you have the weight loss surgery component. I'll just kind of go through some of the chapters in the book, and then if you guys have questions as we go, feel free to ask them, and I'll see if I can address it. So the first part of the book, I start really talking about obesity and how it works. I really, the whole book is kind of based on this fundamental concept of your metabolic thermostat. This idea that when you restrict your calorie intake and starve yourself, you end up increasing your hunger and decreasing your metabolism, so that your net result is that your body starts fighting against your weight. And really, the ultimate goal of anyone who's trying to lose weight is to lower that set point. So our brain is wired around the single number, the set point. And that set point dictates what our body weight is. And we drop a few pounds and your body tries to push you back up toward it. You gain a few pounds and actually your body tries to push you back down toward it. And we try to center and regulate ourselves and defend this weight that we're stuck at, this set point. And weight loss, successful weight loss, is dependent on lowering your set point. And only through lowering your set point can you actually get this weight off permanently and keep it off. And so I talk a lot in the book about these little factors that cause your set point to go up. And there's so many things that we kind of take for granted and think, oh, they're not really a big deal. Like, oh, a soda pop only contains 150 calories. But in fact, those 150 calories that you drink in a soda pop are so much more likely to be stored than if you eat 150 calories even as a piece of cake or a cookie or something like that. So I think that's so important that we recognize that things like, and it's not just dietary, things like medications, things like a period of inactivity and injury, things like working the night shift, actually change the way your weight loss hormones function and cause your weight to go up. And if you're going to be successful, then really the only way you're going to end up being successful in your weight loss efforts is if you identify those things that are causing your weight to go up, your set point to go up, and eliminate them as much as possible. Seeing a couple of people coming on. Jennifer Morse, when's the book available? The book is actually available now. It's available on Kindle. I think it comes out on Saturday on the Kindle, but it's available for order on Amazon now. Does the book talk about post-op beyond a year or two? So the book really isn't in any way focused on one point of life as a weight loss surgery patient. And so I think the answer is the book is focused on someone who's pre-op, but the book is also focused on someone who's 5 or 10 years post-op. And I think between the book and then some of the supplemental courses we have on poundofcureweightloss.com, that's going to give anybody who's more than a few years out from surgery everything they need to do. But if you're a few years out from surgery, and you're looking to either maintain your weight or lose more weight, well, what do you have to do? The first thing you have to do is identify all of those things that cause you to gain weight. And again, it's not just eating too much. It's eating the wrong types of food. It's food addictions. It's inactivity or an injury. It's sleep disturbances. It's medications. And really sitting down, and the book will kind of walk you through all of those items that cause your set point to go up, and figuring out what of those factors in my life can I control. And then coming back and saying, all right, what are the 4 ways you can lower your set point? The 4 ways are changing your nutrition, are changing your exercise, really to build muscle, not necessarily just to burn calories. as well as medications, and then surgery. Now, if you've already had surgery, then you're kind of limited to revisions, and there is a chapter in this book on revisions. And then also, if you're struggling with your weight and you're more than a few years out, then changing your nutrition and kind of coming back to the metabolic reset diet, back to the Pound to Cure program. Again, it's available on poundtocureweightloss.com or in the first book. On exercising to build muscle, particularly in your legs, which is where we have the most muscle. And then talking about medications, I've been using Saxenda fairly frequently and had a lot of success with Saxenda. It's a daily injection and it's not covered by a lot of insurance companies, but if you've got it, it's great. And then finally, revision surgery. And I think, the key for any patient at any point in their weight loss journey is to know what's going on. Why did I gain weight? And what can I do to lose it? What are the factors, the hidden factors beyond just what you're eating? The medications, the sleep disturbances, everything like that. So Sarah Hayes, 4 years out, gaining, my set point keeps inching up. So I think, Sarah, that's going to be for you figuring out that's going to be chapter 3, why you gained weight. Again, this chapter 3 in my new book, how weight loss surgery really works and how to make it work for you. I think, Sarah, I would really look very carefully at chapter 3 and ask yourself, which of these factors in my life are causing problems? Are there food addictions at play where I'm eating sweets more than I should? Are you sleeping regularly? Are there any medications that you're taking that could be causing weight gain? All of these factors, I think, are really critical for you to be able to figure out how this is all going to work. And what you can do to keep your set point from inching up. So Kim Saxon, my weight loss has been at a stall for a while. I take thyroid meds. Could this be an issue? Honestly, Kim, I think thyroid is rarely an issue in terms of weight gain and weight loss. I'd obviously need to know more information, but just some kind of general thoughts about weight loss stalls. Or first, if you are post-op and you've had weight loss surgery, have you looked at the statistics on how much weight you're supposed to lose? I use an algorithm on michiganbsc.org, and it's actually free. Anybody can go on, and they actually have an app, MBSC, and you can download the app or go on the website, and you can look and plug in all your numbers. I'm wondering if I can do a little screen sharing here. See if I can do a little screen sharing here. Let me see if I can pull this up. But you can go on this app, Michigan BSC, this website. Yeah, let's see. Let's try this out. Let's get a little fancy with our technology here. Okay. Looks like I think I'm sharing this screen, and it's an outcomes calculator on this michiganbsc.org website. You can plug in your procedure, whether you had a gastric bypass or a sleeve, your height, your weight, your gender, your age, some medical problems you had, and you just click this little save icon up at the top, and you gotta obviously fill it out. I'll just throw some numbers in here. Say I'm 340 and I'm 5'6", and you throw some numbers out here, and you can see how much weight. I'm not sure how well it's projecting, but this says this patient would lose 97 pounds at year 1 and get to 243 pounds. So I think that tool is something that's super useful for anyone who has had surgery to see where do you stack up. I use this in the office all the time. And, if you're at that number or even beyond that number where you're expected to be, then maybe this is the best thing for you. And maybe this is where your weight should be. So I think that's a really important thing for you to figure out, what is a realistic amount of weight? If you start at 350 pounds and you say, I want to be 150 pounds, that truthfully is an above average amount of weight loss. And as I talk about in the new book, genetics is a real major player in terms of driving the amount of weight that you're going to lose after the surgery. And it may be that your genetics have kind of set things up so that this is how much weight you're going to lose. You can usually lose a few more after that, but if your weight loss is stalled, and it may just be that you've kind of reached the end of the road after weight loss surgery, and there's going to be a few tweaks you can do in terms of your diet and exercise, but it's probably only a few more pounds that you're going to get. And at this point, you should really be transitioning your efforts toward weight maintenance. So Tammy, can I post a link to purchase the book? I certainly will. I'll put a whole post up on that, and we'll have a lot. Just keep an eye on the Facebook page, and we'll have a lot that goes over that. So Lori Ambler, when you reach what is a reasonable calorie intake, would you recommend sticking with carb counting and high protein, not worrying about calories as much? Oh, Lori. I wouldn't recommend calorie intake, counting calories. I wouldn't recommend carb counting. I wouldn't recommend high protein. You're far enough out from surgery. You're a year or so out. It shouldn't be protein first. It should be produce first. And you should be focusing on fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and beans, everything in my book, because eating a high protein diet, particularly a high animal protein diet, is not going to drive weight loss. It's going to cause weight gain. And I think if you're eating and still focusing on protein shakes 2 years out and wondering why you're not meeting your weight loss goals, that could potentially be a cause of it. So I think, Lori, what I would have you doing is focusing on a high calorie ratio diet where most of the food you eat comes from plants, and you're eating very little animal protein and very little sweets and processed foods, and almost all fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and beans. And you don't have to count anything if you do that. And there's no math to nutritional success. It really is about quality. It's quality of calories over quantity of calories. And I talk about that more in my new book in chapter, let's see, that would be chapter 4, How to Lose Weight, where I talk about it's about changing the quality of your diet, not changing the quantity of calories that you consume. We've got Lucretia here. First of all, I heart you, Dr. Weiner. Thanks so much. That's nice of you to say. I don't understand why it's so different in the beginning after bypass versus years out. I know my pouch is still the size of an egg because I had an endoscopy. Why can you eat so much more later even though your pouch hasn't stretched? Lucretia, that's such a great question. And it really gets down to this fundamental concept of what drives weight loss after surgery. And it's this idea that your set point has is being lowered by the surgery. So initially, when you have the surgery, let's say you start out at 300 pounds, and then you have the surgery, what happens is your brain that night, while you're sleeping and recovering from surgery, your brain says, I'm not 300, I'm 200 pounds. And so now your brain is all of a sudden looking down and saying, wait, I'm 200. What's all this 100 extra pounds that we're seeing? This is crazy. So initially your brain says, I am not hungry at all because my brain says I'm 200, but my body's 300. I'm not hungry at all. I should be exercising. And everything that your brain is telling the rest of your body is targeted at getting you to lose those 100 extra pounds. But eventually that 300 goes to 250, goes to 220, goes to 200. And now your brain and your set point line up. And you're just like every other person on the planet where your body weight and your set point are kind of around the same. And so once that happens, all of a sudden that decreased hunger signal that was happening as your body was working toward weight loss and the increased exercise signal starts to get back to normal. Because hunger is so much more than anatomy. Hunger is about hormones like ghrelin and leptin that regulate our drive and desire for food. And once you reach that weight where the set point and your body weight actually equilibrate, and for most patients that's about 9 to 12 months out from surgery. Some people can be 18 months down the road. Some people can be 6 months. But once it's once it equilibrates, then the hunger returns and you become very normal. That's a normal process that occurs in every weight loss surgery patient's life. On the poundofcureweightloss.com website, I've got a ton of videos that kind of address that idea. And again, it's addressed in the book. Hi, Gigi. Hi, Carrie. How are you? Good to see you. Miss you guys too. Can't wait to see you. Kathy Brown. Hi, Doc. Hope you're well. I am well. I'm really loving Arizona. I'm 5 years out and I'm up around 15 pounds from my lowest point. I'm feeling great, but still want to lose another 50. So I think, Kathy, this is also a really great concept. You know, it sounds to me like you lost a decent amount of weight after surgery. But by the numbers you put up there, 35 pounds less than you had originally thought you would, or what your goal weight was. So I think my guess is, and we'd have to run the numbers, but my guess is you were probably put in things into that risk calculator. My guess is you're probably around what we would have expected. And I think that if you're going to, how are you going to lose another 50 pounds? I wouldn't be worrying about losing another 50 pounds. I'd worry about getting those 15 pounds off again. And kind of, again, finding those factors that potentially could have caused the weight regain. Perhaps it's nutrition, but it can also be a new medication. It can be a change in your lifestyle or an injury. It can be changes in your sleep. There's a lot of factors that cause you to gain weight. And I'd first identify those and make sure you're not missing any of those. And then what can you do? There's 4 ways to lose weight. Again, this is chapter 4 of the book. Change the quality of your nutrition, start exercising to build muscle, medications, and then revision surgery. So Phyllis is no counting when you focus on veggies, beans, and non-animals. That's right. And Phyllis, remember you started the comments saying you are still at your original weight, haven't gained any weight back. And I think that's awesome. Because, you know, again, focusing on a plant-based diet, I think, is probably one of the best things weight loss surgery patients can do. Lynette, yes, the new book is available on Amazon. We're going to have a post on Facebook very shortly that looks, I think Rhiannon's watching. Rhiannon, if you want to get that post up ASAP, that'd be great. But the book is How Weight Loss Surgery Really Works and How to Make It Work for You. The paperback's available for purchase now. I think some people already ordered it. It's coming on Friday for them. And then the Kindle version should be available also around Friday or Saturday. And so, you know, I've worked as a ton of information in this book. It really, I think anybody who's ever had weight loss surgery will benefit from something in the book. It's a strategy and an approach to thinking about your weight and weight control. As opposed to a paranoid list of do's and don'ts. I'd like patients to be able to take control of their own destiny and understand their weight and what's causing it to go up and what steps they can take to help it go down. So Christina, 2 years out, feeling great. Just had skin removal surgery months ago. That's awesome. Good for you, Christina. Lori, just curious on calories, no protein drinks here. Good, but a lot of nuts and fish. That's great, especially the nuts. Thank you for confirming. Produce is still going well also. All right, I know you, Lori. I knew you were doing better than that. Good to hear that you're really doing well. Lynette, yes, the book's available on Amazon. Phyllis says yes on Amazon. Sarah Hayes, feedback. I'm really loving this live stream group chat with you right now and wish you could do it with more of us all like this. I'll tell you, I love doing it. My greatest problem is the technology. And so I still need to work on it. But, you know, in our office, our Wi-Fi isn't strong enough to do it. So I've got to run home and the location. So I think, you know, now with the new book out, I'm going to try to get and do more of these Facebook Lives because I really enjoy them too. I love catching up with a lot of my old patients. And helping people who are struggling or succeeding after weight loss surgery kind of figure out what's going on with them. So Stacey Shipman, excited to get your new book, Opinion on Plant-Based Protein Shakes that are made up of peas and sprouts. So those are probably the best artificially processed, artificially sweetened, artificially flavored protein shake available, Stacey. I love them for patients who are perhaps on the very low calorie pre-op diet. I love them for people in the first 3, 6, sometimes even 9 months. We need to keep people on the shakes after surgery. I think they are the best shakes in that setting. But I think that everybody should ultimately get off any kind of processed protein supplement, whether it's animal or plant-based. I think if you want to kind of drink something that's super healthy and filling, then you want to make yourself a set point smoothie and maybe put a little bit of yogurt in it. Set point smoothies are green leafy vegetables, are fruit, sometimes some nuts or seeds, and then a lot of spices like ginger or anything like that. Okay, Emma Tyson at 1 month out. Given the restriction, how can we adapt Pound a Cure program? Not able to eat much now and need to prioritize liquids and proteins. Yeah, you're not eating a pound of vegetable at a month out. You know, there's this period after surgery where you really have to kind of follow the post-surgical diet. And then recognize that at first it is protein first, and you're going to have to use these supplemental processed protein shakes to just kind of be okay. And after that, then once you start to get more comfortable with your eating, then you can start to switch back to more of a natural plant-based Pound a Cure diet. So I think patients who are initially right out from surgery are going to have to kind of not follow the Pound a Cure plan perfectly. I think my next book is going to be about the 4 stages of life after weight loss surgery. One of them, the first stage, is going to be recovery. And again, there's a course on this on the poundacureweightloss.com website, Emma, that will address this period in your life. But the first course is this recovery phase. And what's important about the recovery phase, I think mindful eating is a great strategy that you can really take out of the recovery phase into the next phase. And we'll kind of address those types of issues. So I think, Emma, if you're looking for more information on that, poundacureweightloss.com, it's bariatric course number 2. So Lynette, thanks. I had my gastric bypass in March of 2003 in Puerto Rico and work as a volunteer in a support group. Great. Good to hear from you. Kathy Brown, how does revision work? Well, revision surgery is going to be chapter 9, I believe. Yes, chapter 9 in the new book, How Weight Loss Surgery Really Works, is revision surgery. And it really depends on your initial surgery. So if you had if you have a gastric band in, then you have this set of revision options. If you have a sleeve, you have this set of revision options. And if you have a gastric bypass, you have that set of revision options. So, I think finding a surgeon who does a lot of revision surgery, not all bariatric surgeons do a lot of revisions, finding someone who does those is critical if you're thinking about a revision surgery. But typically revisions are twice as risky with half the reward. So you got to be real careful in choosing them. And oftentimes it's not necessarily the best thing for you to choose. Linda, will reading the book help patients that have had an endoscopic sleeve gastroplasty? I think it will, but it's not going to be as appropriate, I think, for you. Just because I'm not convinced that the endoscopic sleeve gastroplasty really drives the same permanent set point lowering effects that we see with a sleeve and a gastric bypass. I don't really talk much about the endoscopic sleeve gastroplasty, but if you're struggling with your weight after an endoscopic sleeve gastroplasty and are thinking, okay, maybe it's time for a more definitive invasive procedure, then I think the book would be perfect for you. But the truth is, I don't really have any experience with that procedure because I just haven't been as impressed with the data as I am with the other procedures. There's some surgeons out there who always want to be the new surgeon on the block doing this new latest and greatest thing. And there's other surgeons who just want to take the data and provide the best possible outcomes to patients using kind of tried and true techniques. And I certainly fall into the latter category. I feel very uncomfortable offering patients new things where I don't really know what it's going to do. I can guess, but I don't know. And one thing I've learned in medicine is until you have the data, until you have the years of experience, you don't know what's going to happen. And our thoughts and ideas about the physiology and how the body works are often oversimplified and don't really explain what's happening. Okay, so I'm going to take just a few more questions. Yulette Edwards, she's purchased a Pound to Cure. Listen to all my videos on YouTube. We'll order the new book. Also, check out poundtocureweightloss.com. Yulette, I think there's a ton of more videos there. Just doing your endoscopy tomorrow on your birthday. That's quite a birthday present. Then to schedule your surgery. I'm glad you've learned a lot from me, and hopefully you'll enjoy the new book. What's your new view on the pouch reset that's out there? I see it all over the web, but have not heard you speak about it. Yeah, because I don't think the pouch reset is a temporary thing, and you can't expect permanent result from a temporary change. You have to make a permanent change if you want a permanent change. All right, Lucretia's 9 years out and weigh less today than her lowest. Working toward a plant-based diet, no dairy, no processed food. Also have an active lifestyle because I work as a dog walker, getting paid to exercise. Hi, Jen. How are you? Say hi to Emma and Leo for me. Anyway, so we're going to do more of these. I apologize for getting on late and some of the technical problems, but we're going to get better, and I will see you soon, and we'll post more info on the next live shortly. Take care. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.